Hello everyone, welcome for this new tutorial. So today we'll have a look on how to model Jack-o'-lantern. We are in October. So let's go and make it in Blender. So I will use Blender 4.5 for this tutorial. So let's go, and first of all, let's have a look of reference images. So for this, you can just go into Google and search for pumpkin top view. Like this, we'll have an idea of what we want to do. So usually what you can see here is that you have the stem here that has 5 here steps over there. And here we can see that we have mostly 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10 divided parts like this into the pumpkin with kind of round shape over it. And if we go into front view there, so here we can see that we will have this kind of shape that we want to reproduce. Okay, so let's go there, and what we will do here, we will just add a simple, so I will just empty the scene here by default, and I will just add here a mesh, and this mesh will be a UV sphere. Okay, so just a simple UV sphere, and what you can do to have the right amount, just choose something that can be divided by 10. So maybe we'll put 60 or something like that into this one, and maybe 24 like this. Okay, and like this we'll have enough. So 60 and 24. And let's go there in edit mode now, and we will make good use of this tool here, the proportional editing tool. The shortcut for that is O, okay, and you can just select after the kind of proportional editing you want. So here I will use the sharp interpolation, and it creates this kind of effect with when I make GZ, okay, like this. So in front view, in orthographic view in 1 and 5, we will make GZ just like this to create this kind of curvy shape here, like a kind of apple. And we'll make the same thing here into the back, like this. Okay. So just to have something that looks good, you can play with the size of the proportional editing while you are using it when you use the scroll of the mouse. So it will make bigger or less big here. Here we want something quite big, just like that, to have this kind of shape with GZ, just like this. Okay, good. So now that we have this, we would like to create this kind of shape. So let's come back to the top view here, over there. Okay, so if I come back here to the top view, so I would like to have this round shape over there. So what I will do here, I will just select some loops here and try to select at least, it doesn't have to be exactly the same distance to keep something a little more organic, okay? But mostly you will need to have at least 5 parts here and 5 parts here. So what I will do a little more over there. Okay, and on there, something like that. Okay, even if it's not exactly the same distance, it's okay, just to keep something a little more organic. Okay, and then after, you will not use S, you will use Alt S. So Alt S, it's the shortcut here to use the shrink fatten, and here it will go inside the geometry. So let's make Alt S, still with the sharp here proportional editing, and with Alt S we can reduce the size here with the scroll of the mouse and go inside. As you can see, it creates really the perfect shape that we want. So this is something like this that we will end with. And here, what I would like is to create something flat to receive the light. So after you can add a candle or something like this. But let's select this one, and with Control Plus we will select more. And then without the proportional editing, you will make SZ0. Like this part will be flat, more or less. And here, we will keep it like that. Anyway, we will hide it just after. So let's select back here all of that, because we will add a modifier. And this modifier will not help us, because here, when I use this modifier, add modifier, generate subdivision surface here, you can see that it will smooth the surface like that, and we will not find back here the sharpness there. So by selecting the edge loops here and use Shift E, we can come and put back the sharpness. You can go there as well to manage it. If you want to go to the item here, you will have the main crease. It's the same shortcut with Shift E. Okay, so let's put something near 0.8 or something like this, and we will have this nice curvy shape here. Okay, good. So now what we can do, we make a little Alt S a little less, just like this. Looks better. Okay, we are good to go. So make this shade smooth and use this and call it the pumpkin or jack, or how you want it. Okay, maybe I will increase the sharpness there and increase the size, the level viewport of the subdivision here. Okay, good. So now we are good and we can continue that. What we can do, we can just make the stem, the top here, the top part. So let's come back to the reference to have a look how it is. Here we have this reference image that looks good. Seems, yeah, it's a little image, so we cannot really zoom in, but here we can see really how it looks like. So we have 5 parts here, okay, and it's divided by 3 and create this kind of roundish shape like this. So what we will do to create that kind of shape, we will just make this, okay. So let's go there. We will add a simple circle, and this circle will just have 5 vertices like this, and we will hide this. We will call it a stem. And now we would like to subdivide it, because we want 3 parts in all of this. So let's make a subdivide and subdivide it 2 times like this. We'll have 3 parts like this. And now this we can re-subdivide by 3 this time. So like this, we will have the possibility to make the shape like we want, okay? So what we want is to select the one in the middle, okay, of each side, just like this. Okay, let's go on top view to manage it a little better. And after, you just count 1 vertex here and from the corner here, and select 1 and 1 here, over there, just like that, okay? So simple as it is. And now we will use the sphere one, and with S and reducing that, you will have the good shape. First of all, before doing this, sorry, remove this. So before doing this, and maybe with the smooth one, let's see how it will look. Yeah, I would prefer sphere, definitely. So I would like to have a kind of, let's say, star shape like this, okay? Just to create a curve like that. And now we can come back to the selection that we had before. So there's ones here, there's ones here. Each corner we select the 2 here, and this one as well. Still with this one, we can make S now, and it will go this way. So like this, we will have a more interesting shape, just like that. So let's add a modifier and see how it will look with the subdivide modifier. It will look exactly how we want. So now with the pumpkin enable like this, I will just go into wireframe view, scale this down, push it on top over there until it's almost near the geometry, and let's create the geometry here. So first of all, we make ES and GZ without the proportional editing, just to have this kind of shape over there. And then after we can extrude that and make a rotation, and extrude that and make a rotation, scale it down, not that big, another extrude, another rotation, and maybe a last one over here, like that. Okay, just to have this kind of curvy shape that we want. And we don't want something straight into the side view, so what we will do, we'll add some rotation and some here. With Control Plus, we can create a kind of curvy shape like this very easily, and just like that. Okay, so like this, we'll have this kind of curvy shape, interesting shape like this. Okay, so now let's increase this level here, select everything, and with Shift N, we will recalculate the normals outside. And we can see that we have globally the shape that we want. Okay. Maybe it's a little too big, so I will scale this down, push this down, and let's have a look on what we can do here. If we see the reference here, we can see that we have a kind of separation between this part and the stem itself. So let's go there. And for this, we just have to add a loop here. Add a loop over there. And with Alt S, we can make a little curve like this to make it a little more interesting in that area. Okay. So now we'll have something that looks cool. And maybe this doesn't have to be totally straight. What you can do just with the proportional editing here. Now, and we will make this for the pumpkin as well. So we'll make this after. I make a shade smooth in object mode here. So in there, I will just make ES. Okay, make a Control R over here, just to have something sharp here, and ES and ES0, just to have something in the center here. And let's make by distance. This you will have only one face here. Okay, so what I would like, I don't want something totally straight, as I said, so I can use here the proportional editing and the smooth just to select some vertices and to add some here shape, to not have exactly something that is totally smooth everywhere and totally straight. When you have a straight line, it's not natural into a fruit or a vegetable. It's never like that in nature. So like this, you will have something that looks really more natural there. Here, I would say that I would like to curve it a little more. Okay, just to have something like this. Good. We can make the same for the pumpkin itself. So by adding, moving some places and make some regularity, just like this or like that. We keep the global shape, the original shape, but we can move a little some places just to have something a little more natural. Okay, so let's continue with that. And now we have a nice pumpkin. So we have the pumpkin, we have the stem. Now I would like to create the horse, to create the jack or lantern face. So how I will do that? Basically, here I will go in front view. So this is the face that I will use. Maybe with RZ, I will put the face that I will face the area that looks good for me. So this one looks good, let's say. And let's add here the geometry that I want to add. So we will make it really simple for this. And it's really important to keep the geometry simple at this point. Like this, it will be easier later. So let's add a plane and go into without the two other objects, and let's make into edit mode, let's make RX 90 degrees, okay? First of all, we want to remove this vertex by dissolve this vertex. Like this, we keep the face, and this will be an eye. So let's select everything, let's make a rotation. So we want him to be a little angry, so it will be something like this, okay? Basically. And let's make the same into the other side, so we'll have this kind eyes over there. Then let's duplicate this with Shift D again and make a rotation without proportional editing for now. And let's make SZ and scale it down SZ, and like this we'll have the nose more or less. So now we will manage to have a big smile like that. Okay, so for this we will just add here a big circle inside the edit mode, but with a lot of vertices, like maybe 60 or something like that. Okay, so let's make RX, sorry, 90 degrees, okay, and scale it up. Scale it up until you have a nice smile that you will can use on the face. So maybe from this vertex to this vertex will be good like this. Okay, so let's erase the rest. With C, I can select like that, paint my selection and remove the vertices like this. Then I can select this with L and make Shift D again to make this big smile here, okay, that we want. Okay, for this one, let's make SX, GZ, and mostly we have what we want here. So I want to remove these two vertices because they are not useful for us. I will just make here something like that. Perfect. Now I would like to make the teeth. So it's quite simple for that. We just select here one vertex, push it down, something like that, to create the teeth of Jack. So we want to have something scary, so with a lot of teeth here and there. Good like that. Okay, maybe that one I will keep. Add the last one here. Okay, so we will have this kind of shape that we want to use. So here now, what we can do is create just a big face here, because we will need a face. But what I do usually in that case, I just create a first face from here, okay, and then after I will just add with F the faces, sometimes from just 3 vertices like that, and sometimes just like this, okay, just to have something that will look okay and that we will can create more. Okay. Or something else that you can do as well, works okay in this case, is to create a big face like this, from this to there. Okay, let's create a face and another face here. Selecting this, okay, and then after with L we select everything, and with Control F you can make a triangulate face and it will create this kind of pattern just for you. Okay, so basically we have what we want here. Maybe this here has to be a little less big. It depends of what you want to do. Okay, maybe let's sharpen a little this teeth here, that, like that, scaling, some places, just like this. We want to keep the geometry very simple, as it will be easier to manage later. Scale that just a bit. Okay, now we have something that will look great if we create a hole from that geometry. Now let's come back with the pumpkin and the stem, okay? What I would like to do is scaling down all of this just to have basically what I want. With GZ, okay, and with GY, just something like that. And now I would like to add a modifier. This modifier will be a deform modifier and it will be a cast. Okay, you can see that you have the sphere option here. So let's see a little how it will look when we use this sphere here, and we can increase the factor as you can see. So like this, the geometry will be a little more will fit a little more the geometry of the pumpkin itself. And then after you just have to adjust it in case you need. So here I think everything is okay. If I make GY to push it over there, okay, maybe decrease the factor a bit just to have something like that, and a GY again. And in that case, we will be not that bad, in my opinion. Okay, so we'll have this kind of smile here. And so what you can do now is just enable this, and like this, by selecting the faces, you can even move the shape if you need with GY as well. Okay, needed. Anyway, if it crosses a little the shape, it's not a big deal. We will manage it after. Okay, so let's make him a little angry like this with SX. That one as well. Maybe this one, we would like to put it higher with GZ. Just like this. Again, if it crosses a little, it's not a big deal, because we can always make GY to put it back. Okay? But it has to be not far from the geometry. So here it looks good, and we can continue the process. So now we would like a thickness to the pumpkin. So to add some thickness here, I will just use the optimal display and come here into wireframe view, and I will add here generate, and this one will be a solidify. Solidify will create, and I will put it over the subdivision. We'll create a thickness here. So we would like to go into -1 and add some thickness. So maybe, I mean, a pumpkin is quite thick, so I will go over somewhere here, okay? And I will make the same for this one, but after the cast modifier this time. So let's add a solidify here, and this one we will go with this way until it crosses the entire geometry, until you are sure that it crosses everything. Okay, so to be sure of that, just have a look into wireframe view. Maybe a little more will be okay, will be better. Okay, so now we'll have this kind of geometry here. Now, what we have to do, and maybe we just have to increase a little the offset. Just like this, it crosses well everywhere. And increase a little that gain, just to be sure that we have the nice geometry and the right geometry here. So now let's select this part. So this one will be the cutter. Okay, and now we want to select that one, and inside the preferences here, you will go to extensions and you will search for bool tool. Okay, bool tool, and then after you will just install it, and when it's installed you just go into the add-on, verify it's enabled. Okay, like this we can select this one here and this one here and use the Control- key. In that case it will just create the horse like that. So very simple, we'll have our horse. What could be good here is to make a shade auto smooth there. Like this, we will have something good. And in that one, we will make the same thing. Like this, we'll have something that looks a little better. So now we have our pumpkin that is ready. Now we'll go through the shaders, and let's continue that into the shading here, into the shading section here. So what we will need pumpkin skin. So let's create that and let's call it pumpkin skin. All right. And now we would like to use here a kind of orangey color. We will change that after, and we'll create a new one here by going into the slots and create a new one. And this new one here will be here the pumpkin inside. Okay, good. So this one will be kind of yellowish like that. Okay, so we would like now to have this material here inside. So to do that, we go into the materials here, the modifiers, and into the solidify. Here you have a material here. If you use rim and material offset, okay, you should have now the inside with this. And if you go with that one, you will go with the Boolean cutter and into the solver options here. So everything looks good. And into that one here, you will go with this one, the pumpkin inside. And now you have the right shaders here. Now, let's create the pumpkin green. And let's create the shaders with that. So basically what we need is to add kind of grainy surface here, damaged surface a little more, and same for that one and that one. So we will use different techniques, but mostly you will see that it's not that complicated. Let's put just a simple green just to see where we are now, okay? So let's go there, and for that I will just start with to explain you how it works with the bump node. Okay, so let's add a bump node. Let's search a bump node here. And to make it work, we have to plug in into the normals here. And let's add a texture, and this texture will be just a simple noise texture. Okay, so if I plug this into the factor of the height here, increase a little the distance, I would say 0.1 maybe. Okay, we can see that now we have this kind of grainy surface that appears. And this is the first thing that we will do to manage the normals. We will use only procedural textures like that. So if I use Node Wrangler, and I really recommend you to use this Node Wrangler add-on, okay, so enable this, I can see the texture directly from here with Control-Shift-Click, okay? And Control-Shift-Click, I will see the normals, and Control-Shift-Click, I will see finally the shader. So basically, that's what we will do for the bump. And so we will use some different values and add them mostly to 2 or 3 bump texture. So now what we will do, we will use this noise texture here, and let's try to go there here. So let's have this noise texture, will just keep some 4.5 here, more or less. So we'll go there into the pumpkin here, the pumpkin skin over there, and let's make the same. So texture here, noise texture. We will use a scale at 4.5, details 5, okay, something like this, okay. and we will keep all of it like this. Now we would like to add the bump node. Plug this into the height here, manage the distance to not have too much. Okay, so let's go there. So the distance has to be somewhere 0.1 to have something grainy surface like that. And maybe the strength at 0.1 as well. We don't want that much here, okay? And we can use here the multifractal option, okay, to have really this grainy surface over there. Increase a little the linearity here, and like that now we'll have this kind of grainy surface here. So let's keep it at 0.1, okay, and let's add another. And to add another, basically you just duplicate here the bump node, okay, and this bump node now we will add another texture. So let's add another texture, and it will be another noise texture. So in that case here, that noise texture will be more normal, so with the FBM option. So let's make a scale at 8, okay, to have something big like that. The amount of detail and all the rest will keep it like this, and we will just plug it here. Okay, so like this, we will have this kind of grainy surface, but with more, with something a little more interesting. And maybe we can increase a little the bump to 0.3 or something like that. Yeah, you see, to have this kind of, yeah, noisy texture that works better. So now we'll have this kind of shader here in the end when I make Ctrl-Shift-Click on that. I can increase a little the roughness to have something a little rough here. And I can manage the specular as well if needed, but here it's okay. And now I would like to add this kind of spots into the surface. So to add this, I will just add another bump node, maybe at 0. Let's say 0.2, 0.2 and something. And let's add a Voronoi texture for that. So let's search a Voronoi texture. And this Voronoi texture, it will be a little more complicated to manage that, but not that complicated. So here you can see the result of the Voronoi texture itself by default. Okay, so what we will use here, we use a scale at 7 or something like that. And we will add a mapping for this. And for this, we'll use Ctrl T. It will give us another mapping options. And we will just use the object options like this. We'll have something like that. Okay. And then I would like to go into the converter, the color ramp, and plug this here. Like this, we can finally have some dark spots. Very simple, just like this. Okay, and make it as blurry as possible. Something like that might be okay. And now you can plug this to that one. So now it will create this kind of bump spots here and there, okay? You just have to click and drag to manage if you want more or less. And you will use the his option to not have the spots looks too bad here, and you will use the filter as well and increase it, so maybe something like this. Yeah, let's increase it at 3 maybe. Like this, it will blur a little the spots into the surface. Yeah, it looks already better. So now we have that surface, and you see you can add more and more textures just like this. Okay, so now let's continue, and I will go here into the GPU and go into cycles, okay, just to be sure that the GPU computes well. And here I will just manage a little the color on top here. So what I would like to do, I would like to add an ambient occlusion. So for this, let's add here an ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion is a very powerful node, okay? And you can really make nice things here. But just here, we will use the normals that we use from the bump here, and we will use the only local, okay? And the inside. So like this, and that's why I want to go inside here, the shader and the render here, okay? And maybe just add a little light here and there. Like this, we can see a little more what we have. Okay, so let's add a light here. So this one will be an area just like that. Okay, and we will put it here. Let's increase the strength, something like 50 or even more, 100. Yeah. And let's increase, and let's duplicate this one to have another one into the other side, just like this, okay? So this will just be a basic setup, and I will just use the denoise option and use only 100 here to have something really quick. Okay, so let's come back to the shader, and here we can see now the result of the here of the ambient occlusion that I have here. So what I want to use is to use this ambient occlusion value to create some variations into the color. So let's go here and mix some colors here. And we will use this one with the color ramp, okay? And we will put it here into the multiply value. Like this, it will add only the black values here over there. So if I look at this now, I will have the ambient occlusion, I will have the color ramp here, multiply, and I will add the dark spots over there. So what I want to do is just to invert that with really this kind of setup over there. You can see that we can start to see the spots here. And instead of having here only black, I would like to add maybe something like, maybe not multiply, but color burn. Like this, it will give something more interesting when we will use something like that, okay? So like this, we'll have some color variations that are related to the normals that we use. And we have something with the layer weight as well. So what is the layer weight? The layer weight gives this kind of outside shape like this for the shader. So we can use the normals as well to plug it, and like this it will be even more realistic. So we'll keep the blend like 0.5 and use the Fresnel on top here, and we will mix the outside of this one with another mix one. So let's duplicate that, and instead of color burn, it will be just add, okay? So let's go there, put this one here, and now in the end of this one, we have this. The factor is far too big, so let's go near 0.3. How it will look now? So we can see here that if I plug that into the color, now I will have something like this. So here I can increase the darkness of the texture. What I can do as well is to mix it with another color here, okay? And in that case, I just have to use two different colors, so maybe something reddish here. And the other one maybe more orangey, okay? So let's see a little how it looks here. It does look cool, and it can make really interesting stuff. You see the nice variation of the color. So now we have something like this, and we finish with something like that, okay? So maybe we have to go with something a little lighter here and a little more orangey and yellowish. Something like that is not that bad. Okay, good. So now we can continue. Ah, it's because of the color burn here. I want the multiply one. Yes. The mix one, sorry. Ah, I find back my colors here. It's far better. Good. So now we have a nice shader for this one, okay? And we can increase this as well if we want, and we will have this nice effect on the side of the model. So maybe something like near 0.3. And now we have our shader that is ready for the pumpkin. So let's make the same for the stem. And what we will do, basically, we'll create something very quick. So we'll select all the nodes, we'll make Control C, we will go into the stem, remove everything here, make Control V, remake the Control C, remake the Control V, okay, move everything there, plug this here, and now you just have to change the colors to something greenish, okay? So maybe that one and that one here, two different colors, darker for sure, okay? And look at this, you will have something interesting as well, okay? Something like that might be okay. Maybe I will more invert this to there and this one lighter here. This one here, sorry, on top. Perfect. So I will have a nice transition now, and it looks not that bad here. So I will keep it like that. Now I would like to add a light inside the model. So let's go and just add a simple point. So this point will be very simple. So let's add here point, light point here. So this point, we will go there inside the settings. We will increase the power as something like 50 and go with something orangey, with an orangey color or something like that. Okay, that will create this nice lighting effect. And now we can create the real lighting and the real environment. So for this, it will be very simple. We just add here a mesh plane. So let's organize a little everything. So with that one here will be inside this collection here. Okay, the lights will make a new collection. We will call this lighting. Okay, so let's put this area and this area there. And this is the pumpkin. Okay, and now I would like to create the environment. So let's go there. I just want a simple plane, very simple. Okay, so let's go there, make GZ, okay, in front view, put it on the ground like that. So it will be well installed here. I will scale this up, not that big, just something like this. And I would like a shader for that. So for the shader, it's quite simple. I will use here the Polyheaven website. Okay, in the Polyheaven website, you can download here a lot of shaders. So you have some textures that are already ready, as you can see here. You have some wood textures. Inside this wood texture, you have some wood planks that looks very good. So in case you want to download it manually, you just go there and you just download the blend file and it will give you the shader, and you just have to select here you will have just a simple sphere in the center of the scene. You copy the sphere inside the blend file, and you can put this into the plane very easily. Me, I have already the asset browser with Polyheaven here, okay, with all the textures available, so you can download from their website as well. So here what I would like to use is the wood. So I would want to use maybe this dark wooden planks here and click and drag there. Okay, so here it looks good. Let's see if we have something else. Dark planks here, not really good. The old wood floor maybe will look cool. Okay, let's make RZ 90 degrees. I would like this to look like that here. Inside the pumpkin itself, the point here, we don't want that light like this very sharp. So just to make it better, just go there and increase the radius. So like this, it will be softer like that. Okay, will look far better for sure. And what I would like as well is to use an HDRI. Okay, so I will go to the outdoor section and into the skies here and into the night sky. So I will have some nice lighting setups already made. So what I will use here will be the maybe I think it's the Satara night, maybe with lamps. Let's have a look what we have. The Moonless Golf might be cool. Okay, so let's go for the Moonless Golf. Again, here you can download the HDRI here from their website here. So you can go there into the assets, HDRIs, and you have exactly the same classification here, the skies here. You have everything that you need to come back to the sky, or you just search for golf here and you will have this one that you can find. Just download the file here. It will give you an HDRI file, and you can go into the world surface here and select where is it? This one. Select the shader. It's not here. It's inside the world surface. Okay, so it's here. I would like environment texture here. Okay, so it will not work like that here, but if you have the classical one, it will work. So let's go there. With GZ, we put back a little the geometry here. Okay, so now I have the light that I want. I will go in user perspective mode and I will remove some strains here to have a more dark sky that will work like that. Something so really blurry and not strong at all. -5, -4 will be okay. I will increase the rotation like maybe let's say 120 just to have something like that. Okay, and now I can place my lights. So this light here has to be not that strong. Okay, a big one. So let's go here into the options. So maybe just 50 here might be okay. And for the size here, we can increase that to 5 meters. So same kind of setting here, 5 meters for here and 50 as a strength. And maybe we can make a rotation and put it there like Okay, so this one has to be orange, kind of orangey look like that, and this one has to be blue. Like this, we'll have this kind of contrast between the two ones here. Okay, it's good, not that bad. And maybe a little strong, this one, 60. Good, from the top, I would like this one to be a little more there. Nice. So now you can see that we have a nice setup here. What I would like to duplicate this pumpkin collection and to make another not far from here. So let's duplicate this collection here. Okay, so we'll have two. I will select all the objects like this. And now with G here, I will put that one maybe here. Make a little rotation into the Z-axis, just like that, to have the orientation looking in another way. And now I can make my framing. So let's go from there and let's add here a simple camera. And I will choose an angle that I like, something like this, and I will make Control Alt 0, and it will give me the right orientation. Now I can just come inside the view, go to camera from view, and I will just click and drag like if I were into the viewport normally. Okay, let's increase that. When I use camera from view, I can zoom in and zoom out, just as simple as it is. Okay, I will go here with a focal length a little different with 30 to have something with a more cooler look. Okay, and we will have this kind of view like that. And let's say that we are happy with it. Okay, good. So we are good for the framing. Now I would like to add some simple effects. I would like to add some depth of field. I will decrease the f-stop value at 0.2 or something like this, and decrease or increase the focus distance to make it look easier. I will just show the limits, and it's this cross that I have to put near the face. So by decreasing here, you see it will come near the face, and like this I will have this one yeah, in the foreground. That looks good. Okay, so we have the nice pumpkin here. Good, maybe we can increase a little the global light. So let's go into there, increase the strength a little bit, like negative 3.5 or something like that. Yeah, to have this back sky like this. And what I would like is to add a kind of particle effect to have something that looks cool into the background as well. So let's go into this area like this on top view, and let's create this effect. Very simple. So what we will do, we just go there in with a mesh. Okay, and in edit view, I will just make a rotation like this, put it near the camera over there, and extrude that until it goes until there far, somewhere here. Scale it up till you have something like that, and make a GZ like this. Now we can make an extrusion of that with easy. Okay, and this has to be higher with this, kind of following the camera angle. Okay, maybe we can increase that a bit and increase that a bit. So for this we will use that one, and here we will put that with M in a new collection. This collection will be here the particle. Okay, or flares, or how you want to call it. So this is the generator. Okay, and we will need a sphere, simple sphere. It doesn't have to be high poly, so let's take something like 12 and 8, really something low poly like that. Okay, let's create a new shader on that one, and this shader will be an emission shader, and with a strength that maybe 30. I'm not sure of that, maybe 20. We will have a look after how it will look. So now let's go into that one and create a simple geometry node setup. So with that, okay, we will just select a volume. So mesh to volume, like this, we'll have a volume here. And with that one, we will select here volume again. We want distribute points in volume here. So we'll have some points here. We would like a instance on this. And we would like to have the instance sphere. So what I can do, I can just select the sphere. Where is that? Here, there, inside the article here. Okay. So now I can select the sphere and click and drag it here and put the sphere over there. Geometry inside it. So we have a lot of it here. We don't want that much, maybe a density at 0.1, even 0.01, really not that much. Okay, something like that might be okay. We would like to use a scale very little, and for this we will go here, or maybe we can just decrease the scale of the sphere itself. Okay, so let's decrease that. In edit mode, like this, it will follow very easily. So we don't want that much, just to have some interesting shapes like that in the background. Okay, so let's go in edit mode again, and maybe this has to be a little wider, and same for the one on top. There's two here, scale it up. There's two here, scale it up as well. Okay, so now we'll have enough. So we are good to continue. So we'll have this kind of background here, and let's have a look into rendered mode. How it will look. It will look nice actually. What I can see into this one is that it's really it takes a lot of light here. So we'll go into the sphere itself, into the shader itself. Let's come back to the shader. Okay, good. So the shader of the sphere here, nice one, and go into rendered view. So we have already something nice, but it's too strong and they looks exactly the same, and I don't like it like that. So what I want to do is make something, maybe something at 5 might be enough here. I would like to add a variation of that, and on this I will just add texture. Just a simple noise texture, okay, that will give us something with different colors, okay. So for that, you will just have to use here a color management, hue saturation value, and let's start from something like that, okay. So here, this color will go here, okay. Now, if I make Control T and use this as an object, you start to see some variation. So let's have a look from the scale it here. Okay, can we have something interesting? Case? Yes, I know why it doesn't work. We have to come back to the geometry nodes again here. Okay, and we have to realize instance, or it will not work. So let's search for realize instance here, and we start to see some variations. I guess it might work a little better here. So let's come back to the sphere shader in object mode here. And let's have a look this over there. So the scale of this is far too big, I would say. We can see some variations now. Yeah, you can see now the variations that appears over there. So what I want is not something with crazy colors everywhere. Maybe the strength is a little too low. I would say maybe at 10. We will see that after. So here the factor is too strong, so let's decrease that just to have subtle variation, okay? So something that comes from the like that looks cool. Maybe I can come back to the camera itself. So let's go and search for the camera. Where it is? Camera should be here into environment. Okay. So the camera here, and maybe we can increase a little the f-stop value, like decrease like 0.1 to have this nice here shading over there. And let's come back to the sphere and increase the strength of it. I would say like 10 or 20 might be enough. It doesn't seem to change anything. Oh, because I don't select that for sure. At 5, it's already too strong actually. So let's go to 3. Yeah, come on, 4. And we are good with that. Okay, so now if I remove that, I will have a nice render already. What I can use as well is an add-on to manage directly the compositing. It's very easy, very quick. Just go there into edit preferences and you will just have to select the extensions here and select color and you will find Colorista. Okay, so just install that and enable it into the add-ons. Okay, so if I search Colorista, it's enabled for me. And here you will can manage it directly into the render view, just like that, very simple. So you just have to enable Colorista, okay? Very simple, you can optimize your scene like that, okay? And now you can manage here all of the settings that you want. So you can manage the brightness, the exposure. So let's say you would like something a little brighter, okay, with a little more exposed, just like this. Okay, good. You can manage the highlights as well if you want more highlights, less highlights, just like this. Okay, the bright areas as well, the shadows. You can manage the contrast, all of this. Here I would like to increase the texture a little bit just to have a little more, a little better look, just like it is. Okay, increase the clarity as well, just a bit like that. Manage a little the, where is it here? The vignette over there. Okay, just to have something dark, the corners like this. And the gradient of the vignette will increase that, increase that. Yeah, something like that looks cool already. So now you can make the render and it should make the compositing directly. You see that you have a lot of other options that you can use. So let's have a look with a quick render, just with something that's 250, very quick with denoise. And let's have a look on how it will be. So this is the final render, and as you see, it's very nice and it's not that complicated to make. Oh yeah, something that is cool too that you can manage with Colorista is the glowing effect. So here you can manage the glow intensity if you want to add some glow into your setting over there. and now we have everything that is well set. So I will make a final render, put it into the video, and that's it for this tutorial. I hope you did enjoy all the techniques that are inside. So there is some modeling, there is some shader, there is some lighting, and so that's why it's important to understand all of these techniques to be a better Blender user. So I hope you did enjoy that. Don't hesitate to subscribe into the channel. I need that, and I hope you enjoy life. Happy blending, everyone.